Welcome to the Empowered Soccer Society, where we believe in working smarter, not harder, so you have more time and energy for the things that truly matter. Each week, we share a powerful strategy with a new guest expert to help you achieve more with less effort. If you want to get these weekly tips, subscribe to the channel, follow the podcast, and be sure to sign up for our weekly email newsletter. Everything is linked below. Let's get into this week's tip.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bobbi Ballard, and this is the 2-Minute Comfort Zone Challenge. I'm a therapist and an artist, and I help people optimize their emotional wellness and stay connected to their creativity so that they can live and thrive with confidence and ease. I know I feel like it's a little ironic that I'm talking to you about going outside our comfort zones because I love my comfort zone. I am the biggest fan of being cozy and comfortable. Like I'm sitting here right now in a really cozy sweater, and I've got on some really soft, warm socks and a cup of hot coffee. But, if I hang out here too long, nothing gets done. So, when I'm talking about comfort zones, I'm talking about that psychological state where everything feels familiar and routine. You feel secure and you feel like you're in control of things because you're doing familiar routines and behaviors. I think you probably know what I'm talking about. Like when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning and playing a word game on my phone, that's like the epitome of a comfort zone for me. So, why do we love these comfort zones so much? Well, our brain's primary purpose is to help ensure our survival. And when we're feeling like everything around us is familiar and stable and predictable, our brain feels like our survival isn't threatened. So our stress level goes down. We don't need to use as much mental energy. So we can just relax because the brain is really liking this pattern of things feeling safe and reassuring. But this sense of ease of being in our comfort zone can come at the expense of growing and doing new things and being creative. The extreme version of a comfort zone is kind of getting in a rut and doing the same thing over and over again. So too much comfort zone can feel really safe and cozy, but too much of it, gets kind of stagnant. The next time you feel resistance when you know you need to do something that brings you some discomfort, remember it's just your brain doing its job of trying to keep you safe. So take a minute and think about some ways that you could step outside your comfort zone that you haven't been doing lately. I know for me, I'm constantly talking about how hard it is for me to pitch my work, my artwork. It just feels so vulnerable to pitch it to art directors for possible licensing deals or to be bought or rented. So I'm always coming up with ways of stepping outside my comfort zone in that realm. But for you, it could be something different. If you're feeling like you're stuck in a creative rut, it might be trying a new technique for 2 minutes every day. If you have an online business, going outside your comfort zone might be promoting a new product or service. So you can commit to spending 2 minutes a day going outside your comfort zone on that. Don't be surprised if it turns into more than 2 minutes, and that's great. But if you can just commit to that 2 minutes, it's not so overwhelming. Okay, let's dive in to the 2-minute hack. There's 3 steps. The first step is to reframe discomfort. It's so easy to think of discomfort as just a negative thing, so it's something that we should avoid. But I encourage you to think about discomfort as a signal to your body and to yourself that you're about to grow. So it's not necessarily a signal to shut it down or retreat. It's just a signal that you're about to grow, and think of that as being linked with progress. If you pair progress and discomfort together, it's easier to tolerate the discomfort because you're reminded that there's a purpose behind it. Here's an easy way to reframe discomfort. Whenever you feel that resistance or fear, remind yourself that these feelings are temporary and not necessarily signs that something's wrong. Instead, it's just a sign that you're moving in the right direction towards something new. Just like our muscles feel sore after a good workout, our brain is going to experience discomfort when it's adapting to something new. So when you reframe discomfort in this way, it goes a long way towards helping you move out of your comfort zone more easily. The second step is to spend a moment calming your body's stress response, or in other words, calming your nervous system. Moving out of your comfort zone means by definition that you'll feel uncomfortable. You might feel some fluttering in your chest or your stomach. You might feel kind of sweaty. Your thoughts might be racing or of a fearful nature. This is your body getting into fight or flight mode to protect your survival. And when you can shift from this stressful mode of fight or flight into a state of relaxation, it just nips it in the bud. It makes it so much easier to step forward. The good news is that with practice, you can learn how to shift into relaxation from a place of stress and anxiety really quite easily. There are so many ways to do this, and breathing is one really fundamental, simple way to shift your body out of that fight or flight state. If you're familiar with the box breath, that's what I'm going to talk about right now. You inhale for a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 4, exhale for a count of 4, and then hold your breath again for a count of 4. And this is a way to relax your nervous system and shift you out of that stress response. So far, you've been on the cusp of doing something uncomfortable and you haven't been able to take that step. So you're going to reframe the discomfort as something positive, as a sign of progress. And then you're going to spend a minute doing some breathing to calm your stress response. And then the third step is to focus on just the first small step. And when I say small step, I mean really tiny, so tiny that it feels easy. Small steps help you build momentum by getting you out of your comfort zone in a doable way. It gives you a success to build on, it keeps you moving forward, and it starts some momentum. Also, and maybe even more importantly, it's just so much less overwhelming to focus on one step at a time than to look at a whole big project or a whole big task and think about how much has to get done to get to that finish line. When you can break it down into just what you need to do right now, it keeps the discomfort manageable. It makes it easier for you to reframe the discomfort and calm down your nervous system because you're just thinking about what the next small step is. And this is a way to build competence and confidence as you succeed in taking each small step. All of these steps accumulate into really big progress, but it's so much less stressful to just focus on that one first step. If you can train yourself to be in the mindset of focusing on what the next step is and not thinking beyond that, you'll actually go further than if you sit thinking about the whole project because you're likely to get kind of mired in the overwhelm of the thousands of steps you have to complete to get something done. So whatever that task is that's outside of your comfort zone, break it down into such small steps that the first step is easy or almost easy. So for example, let's say that you're working on writing a book. That's a big project, right? It's ambitious. And if you're anything like everyone I've ever known who's written a book, it's filled with a lot of fear, imposter syndrome, anxiety, avoidance. So for writing a book, the first step one day might just be, I'm going to open up the document on my computer and I'm going to sit down. I'm going to sit down at my computer and open up the document. You know you can do that. It's the first step. You're not going to think about anything else. And it's not that scary to just sit down and open a document. When you take that small step, there's not a lot of risk of failure. And then you can think about the next small step. The next step in that example might be, okay, I'm going to read over what I wrote yesterday, or I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes and just type anything that comes out. Small steps that just aren't that difficult. Training your brain by taking these consistent small steps helps you learn to tolerate discomfort and reduce anxiety so that your comfort zone actually expands, becomes bigger than it used to be. I mentioned that one of the things that's outside my comfort zone is pitching my artwork. So I'm going to walk you through how these 3 steps help me to continue to pitch my artwork. But first, I notice myself thinking thoughts like, oh God, it's time. I have to pitch my artwork. And so I just remind myself, oh, I'm feeling this discomfort. It's just insecurity. It's not dangerous. It's just my brain trying to keep me safe. So I reframe it as, something that's signaling growth, not danger. I know this is a normal fear of like putting yourself out there, putting your artwork out there. So I can reframe it as, okay, it's not that I'm trying to do something really dangerous. It's just my brain thinks it's dangerous. So that reminder helps me to feel less afraid. And then I also know that I have to gather my stress management tools, right? Because when I'm feeling anxious about pitching my artwork, I tend to get like really tight in my stomach and kind of tense in my shoulders. So I just spend a minute or 5 breathing to relax my body, and it also ends up relaxing my mind. And then I do step 3, which is I come up with a really small practical step just to get me to do what I need to do, right? So the last time that I did this, my first step was simply, I'm going to open up the spreadsheet of the companies that I pitched to. And that felt so easy. There's no stakes involved. I'm not, risking rejection. I know I can open up this spreadsheet. And then once I open up the spreadsheet, it becomes so much easier to keep that momentum going, because then I look and I see like, oh, you know what? There's really only 5 that I have to do. Oh, I've already got the emails all drafted. I just need to make a few tweaks. And all of a sudden it becomes so much less intimidating because I'm just focusing on each little small step. So this process of preparing yourself for the discomfort by reframing it and having ways to soothe yourself and calm yourself, and then just focusing on one small step makes it, not too scary. And then the bonus is whatever it is that you're doing outside your comfort zone, pretty soon that will become its own reward, right? Like when I got my first licensing contract, that became the reward for all of the work of pitching my artwork. Like I can't get my artwork bought unless I put it out there. So whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, when you start to see signs that it's getting accomplished, whatever used to be outside your comfort zone becomes really rewarding and reinforcing now. Something really amazing happens when you spend more time in your discomfort zones, and that's that you expand what your comfort zone is. So this 3-step hack will help you expand your comfort zone, just practicing it 2 minutes a day. And I really challenge you to practice this just 2 minutes a day. Keeping it short like this will remove the overwhelm and make it easy for you to start. And the practice of regularly pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, like I said, it really will expand your comfort zone. That's my 2-minute comfort zone challenge for you today. I want to reassure you that growth doesn't really require giant leaps. It requires lots and lots of really small steps. So just 2 minutes of going outside your comfort zone each day can really lead you where you want to go. Thank you so much for joining me in this, and I want to give you a free gift today to thank you. I wrote and designed a set of 26 affirmation cards for creative. I'm going to give you a link to get those cards. There's also a short video with instructions for how to print them because it's a digital file. So I go through on the video like how I print them, and you can pick the size that you print them in. This set of cards can help serve as a daily reminder to...
We hope you enjoyed this Slacker hack of the week. Remember, smart work beats busy work. Until next time, stay empowered, stay slacking. If you want to do a good deed of the day and help us grow the channel and bring you even more amazing content, leave us a comment, subscribe, leave us a review, do all the things. We'll see you guys next time.